taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back. Hour number 2, Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty. SportsGrid Radio. It's great to have everybody with us here today. We always tell everybody, Joe, because it's extremely important, and it's absolutely ridiculous if you haven't gotten it by now. That's the new SportsGrid app. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's available both at the iOS and the Play stores. You can follow track scores and live odds. You can follow your favorite host. You can stay up to speed on all the latest content. You can watch or listen live at any time. Watch SportsGrid on the app. Listen to SportsGrid Radio, including Carver and Lisi, weeknights at 8 p.m. East. You could easily do that. You can follow Joe and get all the clips and all the juice that he puts out all week long. Guys everywhere here during football season. So make sure you go and do that. iOS and the Play Store. It is smarter to be on SportsGrid. Go to sportsgrid.com/watch to check out all the platforms where you can find us. Okay, Joe, let's do it. AFC, NFC title game championship Sunday coming up this week. We begin with the early game where the Ravens, the 1 seed, have the home field advantage, as we know. Big win last week against the Texans. The crowd very raucous and ready to go. John Harbaugh wants the same thing, Joe, this Sunday with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs coming to town. Here is Harbaugh.
It seemed like it meant a lot. I'll tell you, the fans, it was meaningful. Even driving out of the stadium, there's still people everywhere, lined around everywhere. And, of course, I rolled my window down, and kind of, yelled "Go Ravens" and stuff like that. It was really fun.
He's a goofball. He really is.
It was loud. It was emotional. You could just tell how much it meant. And I would say that this is even bigger, and it's like game day. I think everybody coming to the stadium, everybody watching on TV, just like we tell our players, get a good night's rest, get a good meal before the game, night before the game.
Oh, yeah, get a beverage.
Get your clock set. Get your game time ready. So spiritually, mentally, physically, let's be ready to go. Let's be ready to be loud and be proud.
I mean, honestly,
and rock that stadium.
This guy.
You know what he's trying to say, Joe? Like, for a lot of the crowds, like, he just didn't want to come out and say, he's like, go ahead and get lathered up before you come in. Like, he's like, I want you ready. I want you ready to go. Let's play some football. Let's go. So that's your boy.
Fine, but it's like he is like a goofball, though. Like, I rolled down
Not
my
as
window.
much as Jim.
No,
Not as much
but
as
I'm
Jim.
Just,
Jim's a bigger goofball than him.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, Jim's a bigger goofball.
He's a snake oil salesman. Come on, just be real.
Ooh. Okay.
He is. You think that was genuine or that was salesman-like? He's like being condescending. I was telling everybody, get a good rest, get a meal in your body. Come on. Can't just talk to everybody like people. Will you stop these coaches? Oh, that's like McDaniel from Miami. Like, dude, I was telling everybody. Dude, we got to play better, dude.
We welcome in all of our radio affiliates for Coast to Coast on a Tuesday. Carver, Ryan, Joe Lisi in for Scotty. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159, Sports Byline. Great to have everybody with us here. Ravens right now, Joe, -3.5. 44.5 is this total. The half is tricky, Joe, I feel. The half is very, very scary, especially when the guy who's going to be wearing number 15 on the Kansas City sideline, he's the guy that you're giving that half to. Very, very dangerous proposition.
Yeah, well, I'm not afraid. I'm going to lay it. I'm not afraid.
You ain't scared. You ain't scared, Joe. Just say it. I'm going after him.
I had the stones to Alton. Nobody's got the stones. I like it at 3. I don't like it at 3.5. I like it at 3, but at 3.5. Oh, so here's the thing. We talk about all the gurus, the analytics and charts guys. Like it at 3, don't like it at 3.5, because when I bet it at 3, I'm expecting to win by what? I mean, you're a complete moron. If you're betting 3, they got to win by 4, so you can't. You might as well lay the 3.5. But the push, smash special. I'm going to lay it up to 9.5. How about that? Alton, up. Double-digit win. Could be a 3-point spread the whole game. In the fourth, we stick in a touchdown. You win by 10. There's the Alton plus 196, and we're going over the total. Don't be afraid. I got the stones to do it. Where's all these charts and graphs, guys?
Double-digit win. Double-digit win for you.
Double-digit.
Not you ain't.
Double-digit.
Wow.
No, here's the thing. You know what? Kansas City got by your gutless Buffalo Bills. They are gutless. They didn't step up in prime time, and we could put that on the coach. Well, let's just put it on the coach. The team takes on the mentality of their head coach. We know that Pat Mahomes in Kansas City has been an erratic road team this year, and the consistency hasn't been all that great. They put back-to-back games together against my gutless Dolphins and your gutless Bills. This is a different animal, and they have Lamar at the helm. OBJ steps up. And here's the other thing, too. I think that Baltimore takes away Kelsey. It's going to be somebody else that's going to have to step up on a consistent basis, and they're not going to run it for $147 on that front seven like they did against the Bills.
I think they can run it, Joe, to be quite honest with you. I think you can run it on the Ravens. I think that's all nonsense. I think the Ravens can be ran on.
Mirrors? You think it's smoke and mirrors?
Yeah, I do, actually. I think the Ravens are going to win, Joe. I think the Ravens are going to win. I'm not as confident as you are with this whole Alton to 9.5, double-digit win, get the hammer
like
out,
it at 3,
all
you
this
don't
stuff.
like it at 3.5. I like it at 6. Don't like it at 7. I know.
You on the under or the over?
Over. Alton. 50+.
Alton. Big. This over's not for the... This over's not for the faint of heart. This over's not for the faint of heart.
That's exactly
you were right about that.
They were all
you were right about that one.
Halftime, I was getting bashed. Who had the last laugh? Kiss the ring. Kiss it. Smash it.
In the other game, of course, the Lions and the Niners will get together in Santa Clara. The late game, 6:30 East kick. The Detroit Lions, Joe, back in the NFC title game, win a couple of games at home. Jared Goff doing an unbelievable job. All the praise and bouquets from head coach Dan Campbell.
Yeah, it's the way he's made. It's just, I think that's one of those traits that I believe he learned over time. Probably some of it. I don't know. Maybe his father. Maybe it started there. Just his experience, his time playing the game at a high level in big games, understanding. What's coming next, but he does do a great job with it, and he does stay calm, he does stay cool, and he knows even if it feels a little shaky, a little rocky, it'll smooth out. You just keep playing ball.
That's it.
Keep trucking, Joe. Just keep on trucking. It's gonna smooth out. Everything's gonna be just fine. Nothing to worry about. They're catching a full touchdown. This total is now climbed up to 51. I'll actually bring this back to you, Joe, later on. I won't make you rush it right now because I know we've got some other things to do. But later this hour, I'll get your thoughts on the 7 and on the 51 as we sit here on a Tuesday. We'll come back. We got to start the golf on a Tuesday this week because they're teeing off tomorrow at Torrey Pines for the Farmers Insurance. So we'll get Cam in here. Then we got the Lions Share. We'll bring Joe back. A busy coast to coast on a Tuesday. We're back after this.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
best games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night, as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game. An extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Some refer to him as a game manager, Mark. I mean, throwing for over 250 yards in the divisional round, 39 attempts. I don't know if that really chalks up to being a game manager. He was kind of throwing it around with 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty efficient.
Whatever we saw from Jared Goff in 2 home playoff games, I would expect something dynamically different from what we're going to see from him on the road. That's just the way it's been his entire career. His home-road splits have always been pretty dynamic.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the 4th inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was good
Late
betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on.
There's no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast on a Tuesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Of course, the golf is a little bit different this week. Usually, we tee off on Thursday. We end on Sunday, the traditional PGA way. But an actual smart move by an organization. I usually kill the NBA and the NHL. Why the hell are you playing games on Sunday afternoon during the NFL season? Golf's smart. They said, why are we going to go up against NFL title games, AFC, NFC title game? Let's finish on Saturday. Let's play Wednesday to Saturday. So that's what they're doing this week at the Farmers Insurance Open. Torrey Pines, a classic course. Your defending champion is Max Homa, and Cam Stewart, of course, is with us every week to do the outrights, the top 10s, 20s, and 40s, and the first-round leader bombs. Hi, Cam. How are you?
Great, Carver. You know what? Close only comes in horseshoes and hand grenades every week. I'm looking at the leaderboard. I'm like, wow, I bet this guy live at 300. He's right there running out of holes. That's what I tell my girlfriend. I got a guy. He's out of holes. That seems to be the perfect talk on Sunday. Like Keith Mitchell went bananas on Sunday, right? Carver, you see his round? It was 9 under through 12. I'm like, why didn't you do this earlier in the tournament? And me and Carver would be there building stacks. We get these guys who play 2 good rounds, but anyway, this is a great tournament. You said it, Carver. I love the Saturday finish, and they're smart. They do the waste management on Super Bowl, so you get the party. Everyone's wasted, and then we get a Super Bowl game too. It's an all-day party. Golf gets it, but here's the thing: chalk has not been the answer this year. We have seen Chris Kirk. We have seen Grayson Murray, 2 guys out of rehab. All of a sudden, they figured it out and won golf tournaments. And last week, a 20-year-old amateur, some say 400 to 1. I saw a couple 500 to 1 tickets. I know I do shows with Mayo, and then a couple of their viewers put like $5 or $10 on it to win like $3,000, Carver. I wish we did, but we didn't.
No, we did not. Nicky Dunlap, the amateur from Alabama, the sophomore, and now he's got some big decisions to make about his future. Lisi live bet Nicky Dunlap, Cam, Friday night when he was 20 to 1. The problem was he parlayed him with some dopey UFC fight on Saturday night, and the fight lost. So he didn't get Nicky Dunlap to cash
Sorry. That is such a Joe Lisi. Carver, I got to tell you.
So I figured you'd like that.
need more money.
It's one of Joe's, and we love Joe, but with the golf, Joe goes by like the names he picks. Like he picked Nicky Dunlap, and even I was like, "Who the hell's Nicky Dunlap?" I had to look. I go, "This kid's an amateur, Joe. He's not going to hold a 5-shot lead throughout the weekend." Sure enough, he ends up doing it, and he wins. So congratulations to him. Let's get to Torrey Pines now, Cam, and look at what we have. The chalk for this week. Look who's here. A lot of these, of course, Southern California guys. Xander Schauffele's in the house. Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, the defending champion, is here. We do have Ludwig Aubert in the mix, Sungjae Im, Tony Finau, Jason Day, Min Woo Lee, and others, Cam. So we have a nice group of heavy hitters and some guys who we've now seen the last couple weeks playing well. Like you said, long shots have been the way to go so far. Can we finally get some... I mean, Cam, even someone under 50 to 1 to win one, under 100 to 1 to win one of these tournaments this week. Here's where I'm going, Cam, on the outright board for the Farmers. I will start with Colin Morikawa as my chalk pick. I think he's played pretty well when we've seen him. Got a little bit of eye of the tiger, plays well on these Southern California courses. 11 to 1 for me. Keegan Bradley, a bunch of top fives here, Cam, including a second last year. 33 to 1. Form's good too, of course, losing the playoff at the Sony a couple weeks ago. I'm going to take a shot with Keegan. I'm playing Eric Cole. He's in that Willie Z, Cam Young area for us now, Cam. I'm going to play Eric Cole until he wins. 35 to 1 this week. Keith Mitchell, 80 to 1, like you said. Shane Lowry, for me, it's just a price, Cam. Like, you don't normally get Shane Lowry at 80 to 1. He started pretty good last week. Maybe he carries that over a bit. We'll give it a shot. And Sam Riders on the Storm at 170 to 1. He was cruising at this tournament last year, and then it all came crashing down. Maybe he doesn't make the same mistakes this year, Cam.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. I remember Ryder's mom was there, and they're interviewing her and all this stuff.
Oh, they interviewed her, and that was it.
It's like, come on, Golf Channel. Like, leave this guy alone here. He struggled in, and that was tough. Like, imagine your mother's there watching you win, and you don't even win the tournament. But, Carver, I love your top pick of Morikawa. I think it's very simple with Colin Morikawa. Putting. If he putts average, okay? If he's an average, like middle of the field, we can win this tournament. His ball striking is impeccable. His driving. It's a little long, these courses, though, but Morikawa will get it around. He knows California golf. So I'm there with Colin Morikawa at 11. There's a couple other guys that I was looking at, but me and you agree on the chalk at 11 to 1. Here's another thing. I got to go with Tagala. This is going to be probably I went on all these golf sites. I'm like, great. Love Tagala, love Tagala, love Tagala. That's usually a recipe for disaster, but I can't get off him. It's one of these things, and he played really, really well here before. Keith Mitchell, he almost got it done for us, Carver. This guy's coming out of the woodwork, played a great final round, low round. He's 80 to 1, got to take it. Here's my new love. Japanese food in Rio, Hizatsune. That's how you say it. I called him Hizatani before. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Carver, page 1 of the leaderboard last week. I'm looking at like a 20, a 70. Like, he won on the European Tour. I was digging deep with this guy. So he's a really good golfer. And you know what? I find a lot of these guys are, like, in my opinion, he should be about 80 with Mitchell this week because he's really hot. I'm going to take Ben Griffin. Sorry, they have Lanto Griffin, but it's Ben. I like Lanto Griffin as a human being, but it's B Griffin. That's on me. I should have probably said B instead of L. And Sam Riders on the Storm, I'm with you. If his mother shows up, Golf Channel, no interviews till he wins the tournament, please.
You know that Lanto Griffin's going to win now, Cam. You know that.
And the winner is Lanto Griffin. Oh, not B Griffin.
It's funny because obviously we have Keith Stewart in the last hour, and he's on Lanto Griffin for a top 40 that he sent me. So he likes Lanto. So Lanto was probably in my head, Cam. Here we go. T10, 20s, and 40s for me at the Farmers. The defending champion, Max Homa. I'm not going to go back-to-back. I hit him last year, Cam, at 25, 27 to 1, whatever it was, to win this tournament. But I can't go back-to-back with him because of the price at 12 to 1. I will take him, though, for the top 10. I'm with you on Tagala for a top 10 at plus 320. Ludwig Aubert, top 20 at plus 110. I mean, this guy racks up top 10s and 20s, Cam. I'm going to sit there. Look who's here. Ryan Crazy Like a Fox. He's got his card now, Cam. This is his first event of the year, I believe. Plus 300 for a top 20. This guy loves finishing in the top 20.
Remember the last time?
At
I'll remember you were at church with the Carver family. I'm like, Carver's the the good Irish Catholic at church. I'm texting you, box one. It's like, more money in the communion.
This guy's been great to us.
Yes,
Plus
he has.
300 for a T20. Let's go.
Yeah.
Justin Suh at top 40. Justin Rose at top 40. Rose actually for an outright, Cam, and I can't stand Justin Rose, but I saw him at places at 90-1 this morning for Justin Rose, which is a big number. And I'm going to back myself up with Sam Riders on the Storm at top 40 at plus 190.
Yeah, I'm taking all my guys, especially my bombs, like top 20s and 40s all day. I'm with you. Max Homa could win this tournament, but at that price, I can only take one chalk. It's Morikawa. Give me Homa at plus 175. Top 20, Tony Finau. Are we going to get good Tony or bad Tony? I'm thinking good Tony this week. Plus 145 for Finau. He can win. Keegan Bradley, Carver, you got him outright. I love the top 20 pick. He'll be on page 1 of the leaderboard, maybe battling for the title right there. And I'm going to go with Jason Day as well. My girlfriend told me, don't bet him to win. Just take a top 20. See, sometimes you got to listen to your lady. She actually understands. She goes, we want to bet Day again. He's going to screw you on Sunday. I go, excellent point. Top 40, Justin Suh, and nasty Nate Lashley's back in my cat. Oh, he's in the bag.
You love nasty Nate Lashley. You love him, Cam.
He won for
first
me at
round leader.
150-1. I can't get off him. Yeah, give me your leaders.
2 courses, remember, the North and the South on Wednesday and Thursday, and then they'll do the cut, and everyone plays the South on Friday and Saturday. But we do have first-round leaders at 2 places tomorrow. North course, Sepp Straka 30-1, Taylor Montgomery 40-1. How about Bronson Burgoon rowing the boat here at 80-1? He played pretty well last week. On the South, Austin Eckroat at 50, Cameron Champ at 60, and our first-round leader staple, Johnny Roll Me at Double Dice Vegas at 65-1, Cam. Let's go. Let's have a big weekend, Cam, at the Farmers. Let's go,
I'm feeling
Cam.
Montgomery, buddy. No, this is like Carver every week. We've been hanging on by a thread. Give us a damn winner. Outright.
Enough with the long shots. Bring us home this week out at Torrey Pines. Thanks, Cam.
Games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game. An extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Kyle Shanahan said after the game it was the same shoulder that made Deebo Samuel miss 2 games throughout this regular season in 2023.
Last time it was a scapular fracture. He missed a couple weeks. By video, we don't see that. It was the play that he got hit and had a head check. It's more believed to be a muscle injury. X-rays are proven to be negative. They're saying 50-50 right now.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a Knicks fan. I feel bad for Obi Toppin. I mean, Obi Toppin was backing up Julius Randle, and then he got his opportunity. Indiana was playing great. Didn't play Dave, brought him off the bench. And now they got Pascal Siakam, and now he's going into a free agent year. So Obi may be looking for a new home. But I do like that fast break if it's Halliburton with Obi and Siakam.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Some refer to him as a game manager, Mark. I mean, throwing for over 250 yards in divisional round, 39 attempts. I don't know if that really chalks up to being a game manager. He was kind of throwing it around with 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty efficient.
Whatever we saw from Jared Goff in 2 home playoff games, I would expect something dynamically different from what we're going to see from him on the road. That's just the way it's been his entire career. His home road splits have always been pretty dynamic.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The Early Line,
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players
make buckets, and win games.
Game time decisions.
You have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Did like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting, ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid, SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. BetMGM is getting you ready for Big Game 58. How about betting $5 and getting $158 instantly? What do you got to do? You got to download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $5 into your newly created account. This is for new customers. Place a wager in the amount of at least $5 at standard odds price. Once you have placed a bet, you will receive $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager. Win or lose, you got to use bonus code SG158. BetMGM getting you ready for Big Game 58. Only a couple weeks left before they are in Vegas. All right, every day we have Davis Maddock with us, Fantasy Sports Today on Saturday mornings. Why? Because it's the Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM. Davis, good to see you as always. I'll start with this. Yes, I'm well aware that the Bills are the ones who traded the pick away, the number 10 overall, to the Chiefs for Patrick Mahomes, Davis. I heard you yesterday. You think that I'm not aware of what's going on here? You think that I don't think in my sick mind that that's part of the curse of why they never beat the Chiefs in the playoffs is because they're the ones who made the trade to get the Chiefs from 25 or 26, whatever they were, all the way down to 10. You don't know this, Davis? Hi, how are you?
Weirdly, Carver, it's not part of the lore. You don't hear it all that often. They don't really mention it on the broadcast, right? You go, look, that I listen to every minute of Tony Romo, just like, oh man, Romo, I love him, but maybe he could take a break from TV for a year or so. I don't know. But You don't hear it brought up on the broadcast. And look, did they know that what they were doing was going to be giving, maybe the best quarterback that we're ever going to see to, they had no idea. There was no rivalry that existed between the Bills and the Chiefs in 2018. Or 2017. No one knew, right? We just for whatever reason, the fates of the Bengals, the Bills, and the Chiefs, they're all tied together right now. There's a real rivalry, a real, it's kind of like the Colts and the Patriots. No one cares now. Do you think anyone on the Colts hates the Patriots right now? There's literally no reason to. But 10 years ago, you wouldn't even want to be in the same room with a Patriots fan if you were a Colts fan. It was just one of those little mini rivalries.
It is, and look, it's the quarterbacks obviously, and I still think that Allen, he's not the reason that they lost that game the other night. Davis, people run around for the last 48 hours trying to make it about Josh Allen never beats Patrick Mahomes. First of all, 2 years ago, he played probably the greatest game a quarterback's ever played in a loss in the NFL playoffs, that game at Arrowhead, the 42-36 game. Sunday night, I thought he played really well, especially in terms of what he had to do using his legs, the 2 rushing touchdowns, the stuff that Josh Allen does so well. It's the coach. It's Stephon Diggs dropping balls, and it's things like that. And personally, David, I would have fired him. They're not going to. He did all the meeting with the media today with him and Brandon Beane, so it's going to be status quo in Buffalo. But if I was the Bills, and I said this to Scotty yesterday, Davis, and I know you're into the draft and you understand this stuff so well, but if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I go completely, in this year's draft, I go offense every single pick. Yes. I take as many. I do what the Packers have done the last 2 years. I take every wide receiver, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. Get me as much talent as you possibly can in the building, because now that Allen's going to make 47, 48 million bucks on the cap. You need cheap options and talented cheap options, and they got to stop drafting defensive ends because they suck at it. All the guys they drafted defensive end haven't worked out. Use your picks on making Allen better and try to win games 51-45 instead of 23-20. That's the way I would do it.
I mean, I don't even think you have to give up 45 points on defense. Like the Chiefs, this defense they have that's built, it's not a bunch of expensive free agents and guys they took. They just kind of found like, oh, all right, we found a starting corner here in the 5th round. We got a defensive end in the 3rd round. That's kind of all you need to do. And look, the reason the Bills lost that game was not because the defense wasn't good enough. I thought the defense was mostly fine. Like Pat just played better. And really, it just kind of came down to like 2 throws that just didn't quite connect. The Diggs 60. I mean, Allen threw that 60-yard bomb that Diggs couldn't corral. And then, by the way, I've seen some criticism of that Josh Allen throw on the 2nd and 9 where he tried to hit Shakir in the end zone. I want Josh making that throw every time, 10 out of 10 times, 100% of the time. You take that throw away from him, he's Jimmy Garoppolo, right? If you want the quarterback who's going to hit that 5-yard crosser every time, go pay Andy Dalton in free agency. It is not the same thing.
That's the same exact throw he made 2 years ago for the go-ahead score with 13 seconds left to Gabe Davis. It's the same exact throw down the middle, in the back of the end zone, him cutting in, and it was just short this time. He wasn't banged into. He just didn't get enough on it, and it landed short. And it was the one bad throw that he made all day, and it just happened to come at the worst time. I would have maybe did something else on 3rd and 4th down, but sure. That's me, Davis. You move on, and you live and you learn. Let's get to the NBA. You have plays tonight. Before we get to your plays, not often a guy gets fired starting the year 30-13, but the Bucks chop Griffin today. Me and Gabe were talking about it earlier. It's probably just one of those things where Giannis and Dame are in charge and probably told management, we're not going to win with this guy. So go get me somebody that we can win with.
Yeah, and I mean, look, he was a first-time head coach. Very weird to hire a first-time head coach when you want to win an NBA championship. That's very bizarre. Remember Terry Stotts was his assistant coach and quit after like a month? He was just like, I'm out. So that would lead me to believe not only is Adrian Griffin maybe not that good of a coach, but maybe not that fun to work with. Just maybe not a guy who you like are trying to come in the office and work. People do so forget that these sports teams, like, dude, that is your job. That is where you go to work. If you're the GM, you are the head of scouting, whatever, you got to work with this guy. And if everyone in the building just doesn't like working with you, that definitely counts against you. And if Giannis doesn't like to work with you, then like you're out of it. They're probably going to hire Doc Rivers. Do I think that's like some great hire? Probably not. But honestly, like when you have these guys, this is your team. What is a coach really going to do? Right? You got to get your guys to play hard. That's really your only job. Doc like wins 50 games a year with every team he's ever coached. The guys, they're going to play hard. But it was very bizarre. I saw it was the 3rd shortest tenure of any head coach ever. Right? Just like of a non-interim coach, of a guy hired to be the coach. That's very strange.
Very strange indeed, Davis, that's for sure. Let's get to tonight. What do we have for me here in the NBA? I do see a couple of these games. There's only 5 games tonight in the NBA. Where do you want to start, Davis? The Thunder? Are we starting there tonight?
Yeah, sure. We can start with the Thunder. I mean, this is your classic spot that we got, but didn't even make my official play. It's actually going to be on Coast to Coast a little bit later. We got a 4-leg same game parlay that people can tune in there. We can start with we got the Knicks minus. It was -5. It's going to be sitting at -4. Now, I did this one for Scotty. I hope he is out there listening. I'm in. I'm in on the new fangled Knicks. I mean, I would have liked for them to not have to trade Emmanuel Quickly, but Quickly and Brunson, like Tibbs is just never going to play those guys again. How about this one? Record against teams with a losing record. The New York Knicks are undefeated against teams who are below 500. Undefeated against teams who are below 500. So the Knicks, this is exactly what they do. They clean up against bad, dysfunctional teams like the Brooklyn Nets.
There you go, Davis. I've got the list now. Let's go to the Nuggets next, who are in Indiana against the Pacers tonight. Nuggets -4.5 on the road, 237.5 the total.
Yes, a little bit of a weird line here. Everyone on the Pacers is pretty healthy. We've got Aaron Gordon with a shoulder injury, Michael Porter Jr. He's questionable with an illness. We'll see if either of those guys miss. I don't really care, though. This is like the exact type of game where Jokic might actually let himself score some points because he's just going to be having fun. It's going to be up and down, right? We got everyone's launching threes. The Pacers, best offense in the NBA, but one of the 5 worst defenses. We are going to be taking the Denver Nuggets on the spread tonight.
The Jazz are in New Orleans against the Pelicans. Jazz getting 6.5 on the road, 239.5 the total. Jazz have played very well the last month.
Yeah, the Jazz have been awesome the last month. They did lose 2 in a row. They lost an absolute nail-biter to Oklahoma City. Can't really fault them there. And they lost by 1 point to the Houston Rockets the other night. But, yeah, they have been really the last 2 months of the season, probably, I think, the most under-discussed story in the NBA. Like, their starting lineup, their most common lineup is, like, one of the highest net rating lineups in the NBA, and it's really like Lauri Markkanen, man. I said this earlier today. Like Lauri Markkanen has just been a better NBA player than Zion Williamson. Like no one would believe you if you said that. I think the Jazz they're definitely a little bit worse than the Pelicans. They don't have that same top end talent, but they're definitely a better 1 through 10 team. So we're taking the Jazz and the points tonight.
And last one, Battle of Los Angeles, the Lakers and the Clippers getting together, but no LeBron tonight for the Lakers. 8.5 this morning, now 9.5. Davis, as we get a little closer to the game, 234.5 the total.
All right, well, no one from Los Angeles. Don't take me to town for this one. But obviously you'd like to have LeBron in there, but they can play some lineups that make a little bit more sense when LeBron does not play. 9.5 is a lot for the Battle of Los Angeles. It's the big brother against the little brother. We are taking the big brother and the Los Angeles Lakers against the Clippers tonight.
I'm with you. If AD's out there and they've got some other guys, D'Lo's been making a lot of shots lately. I'm with you on the points. Davis, let's cash some tonight. The Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. We're back after this, coast to coast.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Best games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game, an extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Some refer to him as a game manager, Mark. I mean, throwing for over 250 yards in divisional round, 39 attempts. I don't know if that really chalks up to being a game manager. He was kind of throwing it around with 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty efficient.
Whatever we saw from Jared Goff in 2 home playoff games, I would expect something dynamically different from what we're going to see from him on the road. That's just the way it's been his entire career. His home road splits have always been pretty dynamic.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
competitive.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
for
did.
patient, then like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty. SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. All right, Joe, I left you hanging earlier this hour on this Niner-Lion game that is coming up on Sunday in Santa Clara as the Lions hit the road after a couple big wins at home. NFC Championship game, chance to go to their first Super Bowl ever if they can get through the Niners. A flat 7. And the total, Joe, today has ticked up. 50.5 last night, 51 flat now here on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not backing down, Carver. I'm not afraid either. I have the stones to take the Lions on the money line. I'll tell you this right now. We talked about it on the radio side. They have exactly what it takes to challenge the San Francisco 49ers. They have two competent running backs in regards to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They have levels in terms of the wide receivers. Sam Laporte is an emerging star at the tight end position, and they have a quarterback that already won an NFC championship. So tell me why Detroit can't challenge Brock Purdy on the road in this matchup. I like them plus the 7. I like them on the money line. I understand San Francisco is the most dominant team this year, but we saw Green Bay take a more ball control type of approach, and I think that's the mindset for the Detroit Lions in this ball game. Give me the Detroit Lions plus the points money line and under the 51 and a hook.
Lions for Joe, man. You ain't scared. You're not scared anywhere. Ravens, Lions, let's go. I mean, you're locked and loaded early in the week. Early in the week, you're not even.
That's it.
You're not backing
I don't
down.
need to.
You're not backing
No,
down.
I'm not backing down. I don't need all week to think about it. I already saw what I needed to see. I don't rely on other people. I don't care. You could tell me $50 million is coming in, smart money on San Francisco. Guess what? The human algo, I said it before, the brain, the computer, left ear, right ear, that's all that matters. That's the algo right here. I like it. I said it. Nobody else. Maybe I'm the smartest guy in America. It's possible.
4 teams left. Here's where they stand, Joe, in terms of the whole thing at the end. Super Bowl odds. The Niners are the favorites at plus 145. Ravens 2-1. Chiefs plus 350. Lions 7-1 at the long shots. Yeah, I'm one of these guys, Joe. If I think the Lions is going to win this week, I'm playing this. I'm playing this play as opposed to playing them on the money line against the Niners. I'd rather have that ticket, the 7-1 going into the Super Bowl than this week.
Well, let's just take it a step further. Why don't we play the exactas, the exotics?
I have those for you.
Lions,
Think about that, Joe. I have the exactas for you. You think I'm going to leave you empty-handed here on Coast to Coast? I mean, look at this. I've got the exotics for you. Now it's going to take me. Let me bring them up quickly, Joe, on my end. 12-1 Lions to beat the Ravens. The long shots Lions to beat the Chiefs at 18-1. The favorite is plus 275 Niners to beat the Ravens up at the top. But I like the exactas, Joe, and it's another way. Like we said, I think it only works at this point with the Lions, maybe a little bit with the Chiefs. It works a little bit with the Dogs if you want to get involved with these exactas. But Lions 12-1 to beat the Ravens, Lions 18-1 to beat the Chiefs. I'm sure we could get all of our units together, Joe, and figure out how to split them as opposed to it. But that's probably the best way to attack that.
A unit play could be a unit play. Principal
Could
play.
Could be a unit play. Could be a unit
Could
play.
be smart money. It's a syndicate play. Syndicate. What does the syndicate? What does the syndicate know more than me? That's what I want to know. It's a syndicate play. Syndicate.
Joe, you're the wheel.
I'm
Joe.
the syndicate.
You're the wheel.
I'm the syndicate.
You're the
I
wheel.
said it.
You're the
Wheel
wheel.
special. Hammer play. That's it. The syndicate. It's smart money. Anybody that believes that the syndicate is smarter than you. Just remember that. If you're not high on yourself, then you listen to the syndicate.
No. Joe, I love the confidence that you have here. You're not backing down. You've made a position, and you're sticking with it. You're not going to be wavered the whole week. I'm going to throw you all the numbers. This team since the last 20 years as a dog with the sun shining to the east and all this stuff. I'm going to give you every number possible, but you're not going to move. You're not going to dig your feet out of the ground. You're ready to go with these plays. I respect that, Joe. Nice job by you. We'll continue to talk about this as the week moves along. A couple of non-playoff things before we move coaches otherwise. First, I wanted to play you Allen. Of course, the Bill season comes to an end on Sunday, the day after. I like that too, Joe. It's like they give these guys, it's like now they probably like it this way because they probably want to get the hell out of there and go to their summer homes and their spring homes. And this kid probably wants to go back to California and do whatever he wants to do, but they throw him right in for the meet the media 12 hours later after your season ends type of stuff so that they can leave. Here's Josh Allen the morning after the loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal. On the bright side, we woke up this morning, right? We're all here. Losing's never fun. It's a part of the game. It's the worst, second worst part of the game. Obviously, injuries are the worst part of the game, but it's the reason why you play this game is because you don't want to feel this way. But when you do feel this way, it makes winning all that much more special. And this isn't something that we're going to run from. It's not something we're going to hide from. We gotta take it on the chin and continue to learn and get better. And I know that it's not what people want to hear. They want to see results. We want to see results. We're just like you guys. We want to win. And that's the fact. And at the end of the season, there's one happy team, and we're going to keep fighting and keep working as hard as we can until we are that one team.
Oh, that's your quarterback. That's your
hopefully
quarterback.
Hopefully one day, Joe.
Hey, they woke up this morning.
Hey, we woke up this morning. I don't mind that. I don't have a problem with that.
You know what he's saying? Hey, let me dummy it down a little. You got to read between the lines because you think he's blue collar. Yeah, we woke up this morning.
Oh, he's blue
collar. I got more money than you. That's what he's saying. I got more money than you. Life is good. No problem. He's sticking it right in your face. All of the Buffalo Bills Mafia. I like Josh Allen, but basically he's saying, you know what? Life goes on. I'm better than you. I'm making more money than you. Life is good. I don't care. I'll worry about it next September. He's sticking it to you and all the Buffalo Bills fans. That's your quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not taking the bait from you here today with that. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking the bait. I know what you're trying to do right now. You're not going to get me here say a bad word about that guy because he ain't the reason that they're not playing right now.
He's not hungry. He woke up this morning.
Yeah, you see, you're basically now it's like now you're throwing the T-bones out there. Like you're just waiting for the Lions to come and eat. You're throwing the steaks out thinking that I'm going to come and gobble that up. I'm not doing it, Joe. You're not going to hear that from me. I'm not going to go and take shots at him.
Life is good
no
for
chance.
Josh Allen. Life is good. Goes out
Life
to the
is
beach.
good. He's got a nice big mansion 5 minutes from the stadium in Orchard Park. He's got a lot of good stuff. I read a big article in the Post about all of his real estate properties. He got houses and plots of land. He's got all sorts.
Football is insignificant. He's sticking it to you and the Bills Mafia.
All right, sure, Joe. The Titans hire Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan as their head coach. That's called, we wanted to pay nothing for our coach, so we hired this guy. We can pay him as one of the bottom 5 coaches in the league, and we can move along with our day. He'll be fired within 3 years, Joe. He'll be fired within 3 years.
His
3 years for
was a
him.
terrible coach at Nebraska. Horrible. Ran that program right into the ground. He did.
Wasn't a college coach, to be fair. Wasn't a college coach. Shouldn't have been there.
Then he went to the Raiders with Gruden's guys, and come on, no new signs,
made a Super Bowl.
Come on. They didn't mix up the signals. Nothing. He went status quo. Gutless.
The Panthers hired Dan Morgan as their GM. Here's why I don't get this one. That franchise has been awful for the last few years. Why would you hire someone from the inside, Joe? Wouldn't you want an outside, fresh perspective on running the organization? Why are we keeping somebody that's in the building to go and run the team when that hasn't worked? The guys in the building haven't worked for the last few years. Why are you going again with somebody else in the building?
Maybe he's got that football IQ. I mean, John Lynch had it.
No,
with San
maybe
Francisco.
he plays golf with the owner and he lets him win. Maybe that's why it is. Who knows?
You think that's what it is? You think it's like a
I think
Mr.
anything's
Mom
possible.
type of situation?
I think anything's possible.
Day, 220, 221 wiring? Is that what it is? It's all the same.
Tepper. He's another one. I said this to you
Dan
last night, and I'll
Morgan.
say it here too. He's a guy that he's still very new to the NFL. He's only been an owner for a few years. He'll eventually figure it out. And when I say figure it out, that means go away and let somebody else run your football department. He's too involved in the football team, Joe. When you're these billionaire owners, you didn't become a billionaire running football teams. You became a billionaire because you're a great business mind and everything else. Let a football guy run the football team. And he hasn't figured it out yet. Eventually, most of them do. Even Snyder finally at one point let somebody else figure it out, even though they never got any good. But eventually Tepper will figure it out in Carolina. And the Eagles chopped Brian Johnson as the offensive coordinator. So they chopped the DC yesterday, who they really chopped in the middle of the season or in early December when they let Patricia call the plays. And now they chopped this guy Johnson. Joe, isn't this guy interviewed for like 4 or 5 head coaching jobs?
Yeah.
Chopped him.
Yeah.
Out. Get him out. Finish.
Yeah, it was a former quarterback at Utah. It was a better quarterback than he was an offensive coordinator. I will say this. He laid up like Tin Cup as well. I mean, it didn't even involve DeAndre Swift in terms of the rushing attack. Cost me a couple tickets in terms of that road loss to Tampa Bay. I mean, how do you have no weapons, no A.J. Brown. You have it on a 3rd and 12. Kenneth Gainwell, that's $165 soaking wet, as opposed to DeAndre Swift, a guy that's 220 pounds and can take on a blitz to protect your quarterback. That alone, he should have been chopped 2 weeks ago. Terrible.
Chopped. Joe loves when these guys get chopped. Joe likes to chop them.
Was
Get him
Brian
out.
Johnson in a big spot? Did Philadelphia look like they had a good game plan offensively against Todd Bowles? Come on.
No. But who runs that offense? This guy or Sirianni? Who runs the offense? Didn't Sirianni sit up there last week and do this is my offense. I run the offense. He was like screaming at everybody when they were fading down the stretch. I take the blame for the offense. My offense. I guess not. Because this guy got chopped and he didn't. So I guess he doesn't take the blame for his offense, Joe.
Well, maybe
which
he does
bad
take
down.
the blame, and he chopped Johnson. I tell you what,
Get
I
him
used
out.
to like Sirianni where he was hot. You like that, Chief fans? Where was that mojo?
Here's another
the
one I
last
saw
month and a
today,
half?
and I'll give you this carrot before we go to break, since there's no time for me to start the
Kelsey
NBA
again?
now
You go
anyway.
back to Kelsey?
No.
All right.
I saw people in Philadelphia today with stories and columns about how it would be easy to get out of Jalen Hurts' contract this offseason and trade him if they wanted to. That's how much there's nowhere for anyone to hide with how bad things finished in Philadelphia this year, that some people, probably a small minority, Joe, this is not a majority of you, but some people are even considering, well, why don't we move on from Hurts as well with how the year finished?
Well, why don't you just start Mariota? You know, I mean, Mariota, is the leader of the. I mean, it's amazing, really. Like,
it's not easy to find quarterbacks. It's not easy. It's not easy to find
ones,
them.
and guys that can run.
Yeah. Well, he didn't
Although
run in
he
the
didn't
Tampa
run.
game.
I know.
He didn't
Cost
run
me
in the
a
Tampa
ticket.
game.
Cost
But
me
it's
a ticket.
hilarious. All right, Joe. We'll do NBA at the top of the hour. We'll come back, finish the hour with Sports to Stay in Sports History. We're back coast to coast right after this.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Games of the year, Warren, on Sunday night as the Chiefs are now headed back to a 6th championship game, an extremely fun, clean game, and then the hijinks ensue.
And I thought it was just irresponsible for him to take that deep shot into the end zone. I talked a lot about it on X. I thought that they should have hit that underneath route to Diggs. He was wide open. It would have been easily a first down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Some refer to him as a game manager, Mark. I mean, throwing for over 250 yards in divisional round, 39 attempts. I don't know if that really chalks up to being a game manager. He was kind of throwing it around with 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty efficient.
Whatever we saw from Jared Goff in 2 home playoff games, I would expect something dynamically different from what we're going to see from him on the road. That's just the way it's been his entire career. His home-road splits have always been pretty dynamic.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they do.
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the 4th inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We
for
did.
patient, did like a 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty, SportsGrid, SportsGrid Radio. All right, it is time for this day in Carver High history. How about 1950, Joe? NFL rule change opens the way for a 2-platoon system of NFL players. Nice. We don't have to play both ways. 1953, the NFL's Dallas Texans become the Baltimore Colts. They're not even in Baltimore anymore. Now they're in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Colts. 1967, Stan Musial is named general manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1981, Mike Bossy, first player in NHL history to score 50 goals in 50 games. Double deuce, number 22. 1983, the Mud Bowl. The Dolphins beat the Jets 14-0 in the AFC Championship game on a wet, muddy field that negated the Jets' significant speed and skill advantage. It says that here, Joe. Joe had the under in the Mud Bowl, and he was a winner. That was the heyday. That was the heyday of Joe's Miami Dolphin fandom, the Mud Bowl in 1983. Also 83, Bjorn Borg announces his retirement, 26 years old, won Wimbledon and French Open titles. 98, Michael Jordan scores in double figures for the 800th consecutive NBA game. 2000, Don Nelson becomes the 6th coach to win 900 games. 2015, Klay Thompson. Joe had the under on this night when he had 37 points in a quarter, 9 threes in a quarter. He had 52 against the Kings.
If you're wondering what the NBA record is for most points in a quarter, you just watched it. George Gervin had 33 in a quarter. And Klay Thompson has 50 and 37 in a quarter.
Wow, what an evening that was. 2018, LeBron becomes the 7th youngest to reach 30,000 points. He's going to get 40,000 points very soon. And 2 years ago today, 2022, Gabe Davis sets an NFL record for most receiving touchdowns in a game with 4. Unfortunately, the defense couldn't hold them to not that field goal with 13 seconds left. What a miserable night.